Alright. Got this car on jack stands. Should be high enough to service the transmission. Got plenty of room right there. Looks stable. Let's check it for a little bit. Alright, looks good. Where I put my jack stands, right there. Front jack stands, rest right there, nice and stable. Perfect. Now let's get started. You need to remove this cover in order to have access to the transmission pan. Gotta remove all these bolts that's holding this cover on. You're gonna need 8mm socket. There's 10 bolts holding this cover on, so you need to remove this one. This is what you need. Benz 9G-TRONIC transmission oil adapter set. You need this kit right here to drain the transmission oil and to fill it up. You can get these off of Amazon or eBay, so it's very easily found online, so you don't have to worry about this one, but you need it. It's pretty cheap, it's not that much. Okay, you need this right here to remove this plug. And you're gonna need this right here, the one that comes with the kit. Put inside this hole right here. Make sure it's in the slot. And then turn. And just let it drain. It's gonna take a little while for it to drain, so just be patient. Just let it drain out completely before you drop the pan. If not, you're gonna make a big mess. Alright, looks like it's stopped draining. Go ahead and remove this. Turn it all the way around to this position. Then pull it out. Be advised, there's still some fluid left in there, so when you remove the bolts, just be careful because there's gonna be a little bit of fluid in there. on the bottom of the pan. You can only drain so much. So now let's put that plug back on. You're gonna need to remove this bracket first, get it out of the way. You're gonna need T30 to remove this bracket, this little screw right here. There's also one more screw right here that you need to remove in order to remove this bracket, so you can get it out of the way, so you can have room to remove this oil pan down. You can see right there, right up there, same size, T30. Right there. This is the bracket that was up there. Push that one up. Now you got plenty of room to remove the pan. Now there's 10 bolts holding on to this pan, and it's aluminum, so be careful when you remove these. Don't snap it because they'll break. Right there, there, right there, right there. 10 bolts, and you're gonna use T10 socket to remove these bolts. Now there's one bolt right here that you're gonna need a swivel socket. See, like this one will not fit in there. Or you can use a swivel extension. I think you'll be better off using a swivel extension than this swivel right here, because it's too big. You don't have room to get the socket on there. But on a swivel extension, you have room right there. Plenty of room. When you take all the bolts out, just be careful. Don't let the pan drop down. Just try to support it and remove the bolts, and then just ease it down, because there's some fluid left inside there. So be careful. before you install the new transmission pan, make sure to clean the surface with alcohol. Make sure the surface is clean before you install the new pan. Now this is the old pan. This is the new pan. I got these off of fcpeuro.com online, and these are lifetime warranty. So basically, this one, once I remove this already, all I have to do, put it back in the original box that they shipped from, which is this box, and ship it back to them, and then they'll give me the refund. So basically, this transmission pan is free. All you have to do is just pay for the shipping, for the return shipping, which is 10-20 bucks. So it's still cheaper than buying a brand new one. Brand new one is like $200-300 from the factory. So this is not the OEM, but it's equivalent to OEM, so it works. And it comes with the bolts, the fill port, and this little thing right here for the pan. So I have to ship all of these back, including the bolts and all the accessories, back to them, and then they'll give me a refund for it. So I would highly recommend FCP Euro if you have a German cars like Mercedes, BMW, or etc. If you can see the pan right here, they had numbers on it, like number 1 for position 1, number 2 position 2, number 3 position 3, and position 4. And I forgot to mention, it also comes with a gasket pre-installed. That's why I love this FCP Euro. Everything's lifetime warranty, including the fluid. But I didn't buy fluid from them. I bought it off from another website. So when you install this part right here, there's only one way to put it on, because of this little tab right here. See how this got a little tab, little spot for the tab? You can't put it in like this or like this, but you have to put it in right there to line up with the tab. Push it in. Until it clicks. Alright, looks good right there. And this piece is the same thing. You'll only go on one way. See this little slot right here, a little cut off slot? Just have to line up with this part right here. It's on pretty good. if you see that slot right there, right now is pointing to number 1. You stick this one in there. See number 1? Number 1 is closed. All you using is number 1 and number 4, which is this right here. Number 4 is for filling, and number 1 is for close. And number 2, number 3, you usually don't use it, except for the dealership. They use number 2 and 3 just for checking the fluid in there, to check the level and all that stuff. But I don't have all that fancy tools that they have. So what you do is just put in onto number 4 for filling, to pump the fluid in there, and once you're done, close it, move it to number 1 to close, so the fluid wouldn't leak out. You can see right there, see that little hole right there? Right now it's sitting on number 1. I'm gonna show you. Now you need to turn to number 4. See the hole is open? That's for filling. Once you're done, you close it, move it to number 1. That's number 1 right there, that's closed. Number 4, number 1. Before we install the new pan, just put a little bit of oil onto the seal and the O-ring. Just grab from this right here. Just use the transmission fluid and rub a little bit of oil on there so it can seal good. Don't forget the O-ring. This one right here too. And be sure to use new set of bolts, because the old one, don't reuse the old one, because these bolts right here, they're made out of aluminum, so once you torque it down, it's gonna stretch. So it's a one-time use. And this one is cheap. Since this one came with the kit, on my next transmission oil fluid service, I have to send the old parts back so I can get a full refund for it. Now, even though the kit comes with the fill port, this one right here, this little piece right here, is for you to put screws it in and use a nozzle with the threaded in and pump the fluid into the transmission oil pan. So since I don't have those fancy tools like the dealership does, I'm gonna show you the easy way without using this fill port. All you have to do is just use this right here, the one that you use to drain the fluid. You're gonna use this one to fill the fluid. What you do, you put it in and put it to number 4 to fill, and just push the fluid in there. And once you empty one bottle, you close it, turn it to number 1, and then it'll close. Then the fluid won't drop in. And you do the same thing on the second bottle. Turn it to number 4 and just pump it in. Okay, this is what I use. Just a regular hand pump. Then I'll put it in and just pump it and connect the other end with this right here. Just the one that you use to drain the transmission fluid, you can use this one to fill it up. Just connect that hose to this right here, and this is the fluid that I'm using from Germany. This one, this brand right here, Fabi, it's real good. This the first, and then this is the second set that I use. The first set I changed it already with this fluid. This one is equivalent to the OEM one that they sell at dealership, and it's a whole lot cheaper than the dealership. The dealership, you know how that goes. They sell everything real high because it's OEM, but this one is equivalent to OEM. So there's a bunch of aftermarket fluid out there that's compatible and work as good as the OEM one. When you drain and fill the transmission fluid, it holds approximately 4.5 quarts. So I'm gonna put 5 quarts in there because last time I changed it I put 5. So that's how I know it. Whatever you drain out, whatever the amount you drain out, you put it back in the same amount, which is 4.5 quarts. But I put 5 just for a little bit extra. It's not gonna hurt the transmission. One other thing, you see this port right here? At this port, you need to make sure it goes in there. Make sure it popped in. Once it's in, you're good. There we go. Go ahead, put the bolt on by hand first. Okay, there's a pattern on how you tighten the bolt and torque it down. It's a crisscross. You start from the middle first. In the middle of the pan, this bolt, across to this bolt, and across from that, and then come back and just crisscross in that little X. And the torque specs for the bolt is 4 Newton meter, but most of my tools I don't have the torque range that can go all the way down to 4 Newton meter or 2.9 foot-pound. So what I do, I just hand tighten them, but not too tight. As long as the fluid's not leaking, you will be good. So just hand tighten them. In another word, I usually call it snug tight. You don't want to tie all the way down. If you tie all the way down too much, you can snap this bolt in half because it's made out of aluminum. These are soft aluminum. So once you torque it down, that's it. It's gonna stretch. And if you torque it down even more, you can snap it. Don't forget to put this bracket on and on a screw right here. Alright, what you do right now is position 1, which is close. Turn to position 4 right there. That's for filling. Position 4 right here. This position 1 is close. Now pump the fluid in. Second bottle. So make sure put your hand up here so it won't pop out. Second bottle. Now it's the third bottle. Then if you want to stop from it coming back out, turn it to number 1. Close it. And then any leftover that you can't pump it out, just pour it in. Just pour it into the new bottle. Just like that. Alright. When you're ready to pump back in, turn it to position 4 and start pumping. And don't forget to hold this nozzle here because it'll have pressure and it'll push out. So just hold it. One got a little bit left. I'm gonna pour it into a new bottle. This is the last bottle, bottle number 5. So after this, it should be good. Alright, turn it to number 4 and start pumping. Be a little spill coming out. Be alright. Just let it drip until it stops dripping. What it is just a overflow from the transmission fluid. So when it's overfilling, then it'll overflow it out. And that's what I got. So that's why I want to put 5 quarts instead of 4.5. Because it's not going to hurt it. So now it's drip a little bit. It's alright. You'll stop in a little bit. Go ahead and put the plug back on. The one that comes with the kit. By the way, make sure to lube the oil ring too with the oil. Use a 10mm Allen wrench and tighten the drain plug. You have to torque this down, just it's not tight as long as it's not leaking. Don't forget to put this bracket on and on a screw right here. One screw right here. Now the last thing is the cover, but don't put the cover back on yet. Go ahead and get in the car and start it up while it's on jack. You'll be alright. Just go ahead and start it up and put it in all the gears. Reverse, neutral, drive. Shut the motor off after that and come down here and check for any leakage from the gasket, from the pan, from the pan gasket. Make sure there's no leak before reinstall the cover. The cover is the last part, but you gotta check for leak first. Alright, I'm in the car. Go ahead and start it up and make sure all the gears are working. Reverse. Alright, neutral. Let's go through all the gears. Then park. Shut off the motor. Now let's see if there's any leak. Looks good right there. No leaking right there either. So far so good. No leak, no sign of leakage anywhere. Looks good. This one's good. Alright, that's a wrap. Looks like the pan gasket sealing up nice and well. Real good. No leak. Now the cover is back on. That's it. It's done. Last step is to test drive and make sure all the transmission are shifting smoothly. That's it. All done. Thanks for watching.